Webcast on the benefits of moving to the cloud, featuring our guest speaker, Swen Conrad, CEO of Ocean9. I'm Karen Musselman, the Blue Ocean Systems Marketing Manager. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen today, as I know we're all very busy. We will try our very best to keep to the 30 minutes. Just some housekeeping items first. The session will be recorded and it'll be posted on our website afterwards. Questions can be written in the chat box and we'll address them at the end. Before I introduce Sven, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Blue Ocean Systems. So our story, we were founded in 2005, the same year that Blue Ocean Strategy was published. Our business strategy is based on value innovation. It's key to our business success. Blue oceans are defined as untapped market space, demand creation, and the opportunity for highly profitable growth. In blue oceans, competition is irrelevant because the rules of the game are waiting to be set. And this is how we help you. We help you see the blue oceans through value innovations. So we have been a SAP valued partner for over 13 years now. We were a pioneer, one of the very firsts in the SAP partner ecosystem. We have earned this position because we seek to find and to deliver the blue ocean to you. We bring depths of experience. Our owners, they bring experience from their DuPont and CSC Accenture practices. Our senior business consultants, they bring experiences from mid-market companies. And our technical consultants, they bring experience from across all size firms. We listen to you and we work with you. We become part of your team. We use our access to world-class support from SAP and from our own business network. Blue Ocean, as your SAP partner, means your project will be successful and you will get the benefits of your own blue ocean. So we are very excited to have Swen Conrad with us today. He's the CEO of Ocean9, which is a Lemongrass Company. Sven's experience ranges from leading IT operations at HP to launching SAP HANA and Cloud at SAP. He is a published SAP book author and is a frequent presenter on a range of topics. Blue Ocean Systems has partnered with Ocean9 as one of our premier partners for Business One cloud hosting services. So with that, I hand it over to you, Sven. Thank you.
Karen, thank you very much for the introduction and the kind words, and really appreciate to be co-presenting with our valued partner Blue Ocean Systems here today. Just a quick word about Ocean9, but want to keep it really short. So Ocean9, we focus squarely on the topic of SAP on the Amazon Web Services Cloud. It's a very powerful combination, and we are going to talk about that during the session today. We bring a lot of experience to this space. We were among the first, if not the first, our team to launch SAP solutions on Amazon as early as 2007. And since then, we have started Ocean9. We focus very, very squarely on the SAP Business One space, which is an exciting space, fast-moving space, a space with quickly growing companies that are looking for the blue oceans and they're exploiting blue oceans. And we're just very excited to be part of this growing ecosystem to help our mutual customers between Blue Ocean Systems and Ocean9 to grow in that space. So please move on. Yeah, thank you. So today the topic is benefits of moving to cloud. We move to the next slide, please. And there is significant benefits in moving to cloud, as everybody speaks about. It's not a surprise that it's one of the top topics in any media, online tech media. But at the same time, And we are talking about these benefits today in more detail that you can achieve with fully automated systems, with elasticity of these cloud resources, and how you can achieve cost optimization if well managed. But to get there to a native setup that takes advantages and provides the maximum benefit, we know it's not an easy journey. And at times, cloud disappoints somewhat. And if you look at the system, if you engage in an expensive migration and you end up with a hosted system on cloud that just behaves like an on-premise system, in that case, you're not reaping the full benefit of native cloud, as you can see on the right-hand side. And to get there, if we move to the next slide, please. To get there, you really, really need to simplify the migration path and end up in a cloud-native setup that is there from the get-go for you. And while consulting approaches in public cloud or in cloud in general may work, but they come with a very, very high price tag, as I've shown in the previous slide. Therefore, really, where the market is going to, what you have to look for is for a cloud-native setup from the get-go with a simple migration towards it. Jumping really this step of being hosted in the cloud, and hosting always means replicating what we have done on premises to a big extent and just moving it to a different location. The market also coins this the mess for less, same mess for less money. Okay, let's move on. So let's look at what a cloud-native setup entails, and then we look at solutions and example for SAP Business One, how that can be implemented. Okay, cloud-native means with full automations, everything what used to take months can now be done in minutes. And that's with the initial deployment of an entire system stack. And that's nice. I always tell my customers the initial deployment, it's a one-time phase, but there's always changes in this deployment throughout the life cycle of a system. And that's where this really makes the key difference. If you can alter the setup in minutes instead of weeks or months or days. If you can alter your setup in minutes, you now have a fully elastic infrastructure and system that can scale with your business innovation and business challenges and business opportunities or cycles. That brings us to the next point. If you scale and go with the ebb and flow of your business, you're now in a position where you can plan ahead for significant events that we all know about, like Black Friday or Christmas. They're all well planned ahead of time. And we know if you're in retail, in any consumer type business or even industrial business or services business for year end, you know there's a massive peak. And with public cloud, we can very, very easily plan for that peak and adjust our resourcing for such a peak. And even better, if the peak is greater than your business demand is greater than you would have expected, you can even then on the fly within minutes or day, if you put some prudent planning in, respond and adjust. And then to the last point on the right-hand side, the beauty of this, you can do this all while saving costs at the same time. By maximizing, by right-sizing your resources, by not running on oversized capacity that has been deployed at one time and now just is in place and can't be changed. With public cloud and also our solution, small hint here, you can always right-size your resources. You can start and stop it dynamically with public cloud because you're metered by the hour or by the minute. And best of all, with hyperscale capabilities and proper technology in place, you can achieve cost-neutral high availability and disaster recovery setups. Next slide, please. So let's go to this example here, how we at Ocean9 have taken these general cloud principles that I shared with you, cloud native principles, how we have implemented this in the context of Business One. And here on the right-hand side, I have to see, do I have a pointer? Not sure. But here on the right-hand side in this cloud, that's not easy to miss. It's hard to miss. In the cloud, you see this box. This box represents a virtual private cloud compartment for a customer or for a partner. And what that means is that within here the Amazon Web Services Cloud, we carve out a fully dedicated private setup all with dedicated components, dedicated compute, dedicated networking, dedicated security, where there's no intermingling with any other customer or partner. And that is unique, especially in a market like Business One, because if you set this up manually, this would take you weeks to set this up and would be very, very expensive. However, again, if you rely fully on native cloud and on cloud automation, then you can set that up at the push of a button, properly automated. And because we rely on these cloud native principles at Ocean9, this is our default for deploying customers. So these fully dedicated virtual private cloud compartments for everybody, instead of co-mingling, where then may have noisy neighbors, where you may have security issues. Another very, very important component and example here in this picture is that the best security also for you out there as a consumer of cloud is that if you're not using the cloud, to turn it off. And you see this here on with the user, the kind of light green user on the right-hand side, he's idling. You see there's no line through the firewall to the resources because we cut the connection, simply speaking. You're not using it, why would you be connected? Because by being connected, there needs to be a port open, and open ports are a risk for security. So these principles are very, very important and put to use properly with native cloud, A, with the understanding, B, with the proper automation, very, very powerful. Because back to this idling user example, if this user wants to connect, you have to on the fly now build these networks. The way we do this, he knocks on the firewall, he has a private token, we open up the firewall port, and then dynamically bring up his resources in the backend, here this Windows server, open the port, bring up the Windows server, and build dynamically the network for him. That's the maximum security, reducing surface area and turning off any port and access and exposure. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, another very, very powerful and important example of native cloud is the disaster recovery process, high availability and disaster recovery. I told you earlier, in public cloud, you can achieve that in a cost-neutral fashion. Typically on premises, if you want high availability or disaster recovery, you need a primary and a secondary setup. So in case of your primary system failing, you have a secondary system to fail over to. That's a nice implementation, but it's very easy math to see the cost is typically at least twice the cost of a single setup. It's more than twice because you also need to maintain and monitor it, that the connections between the first and the second systems are always up and running. In public cloud, what you can do and what we do, again with proper implementation, you have a primary system or site, we call it here on this upper left arrow. It's the active system. And now we, in an ongoing fashion, we replicate this backups of this system to a disaster recovery site, first to our backup, and then we move that backup to our disaster recovery site. In increments typically of 15 minutes in case of SAP. These increments can be increased, but 15 minutes is a good happy medium. And with that now, you can, for high availability, if the primary system fails, you can rebuild the system based on a backup in the existing data center, or if a whole data center fails or a whole region, group of data centers, you can now move to a different region with a maximum data loss of 15 minutes and a recovery point, a time objective, that's the time it takes to rebuild your system within a few hours due to full automation. And that cannot be achieved in a hosting world that's not fully automated, cannot be achieved in a hosting world. These values at the cost. Okay, next, please. This is a little bit the eye chart, and don't want to scare you with it, but I speak so much about cloud native, and I wanted to kind of at least try to elaborate what that means. So cloud native means making use of the powerful services that hyperscale cloud like Amazon Web Services provides. Amazon has now more than 100 services out there on their website. Services for compute, storage, network, for routing, for everything, going into the Internet of Things, going to analytics services, database services, and whatnot. Now, if you just use compute, network, storage, and do a hosting setup on Amazon, this is then kind of rebuilding the past, rebuilding what has happened on premises. But if you really dig deep in these services and leverage them to the maximum ability, you're able to build these constructs that enable what I described in the previous slides. Here we see a SAP HANA database setup spread across 3 availability zones. So that's spread across 3 groups of data centers, where whenever one resource fails, it fails over totally automatically to another. And this is a setup for large enterprises, which gives you the highest performance, highest availability, and strict security. And we can bring, with automation, you can bring such a powerful setup to any size company. Okay. I've been talking a lot about Amazon and hyperscale. I've used the term a few times. I want to elaborate on that, what that really means, this hyperscale. So here's the map for Amazon Web Services. I have to admit it's a little bit outdated, but I used it nevertheless. I wanted to update it for you. I looked on the website, but the new one has even too much detail, and this nice legend was missing. So this map is about a year old. So there's now more dots, but you see now with these dots, you see the locations where Amazon Web Services has data centers. And within a circle, you see numbers 2, 3, 5. That's the number of availability zones. And now an availability zone is 1 to many data centers. So if you look at Northern Virginia, it's the biggest region of Amazon, 5 availability zones, each zone 1 to many data centers. So this is a huge set of resources, and that means you can turn infrastructure on and off, and you can be ensured there will always be infrastructure for you because the supply is so large. Also, if ever, and Murphy's Law also applies to public clouds, unfortunately. If anything goes wrong, and something will go wrong per Murphy's Law, there's always plenty of capacity to move on, either within a region or to move on from the East region here in North America to either Ohio once that's up, or moving all the way to the West Coast, because there's enough capacity for everybody. Okay, let's move on. And maybe one more word. No company, not even the largest companies in the world, and the Fortune 10 companies, they have impressive IT footprints. But even these companies that spend billions of dollars for their IT departments, they cannot keep up with this hyperscale cloud approach. Nobody can, because it's a utility approach. So this is definitely the future. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so a lot about the benefits, a little bit about the challenges, but the challenges can overcome. I want to emphasize this. The challenges are, I think, overemphasized in the media. Challenges can overcome by the right group of companies and the right solution. And I'm proud to be part of the SAP Business One ecosystem and solution set, and proud of this relationship that we have between Blue Ocean Systems and Ocean9. I believe we are in a unique position together to find the blue oceans for you, starting here with Business One, which is an amazingly powerful set of capabilities that gives you everything you need to control your business. And then you do need, in these SAP implementations, you need a highly qualified partner like Blue Ocean Systems who can help you make the most out of such a system like Business One. And then we are excited to be the cloud provider, working a little bit underneath the hood, but nevertheless providing an experience like never before, where we can start projects very, very quickly. When we get an order, we can deploy systems very, very rapidly. We can scale with the customer, with the implementations, with their needs. We can provide customized solutions, which is very, very important in this space. where Business One can be customized with wonderful extensions and add-ons, as they are called. With our setup, we can accommodate any special requirements. While we always start with a solution standard, we can then accommodate any special requirements of our customers or of our partners' customers and our partners. And we are proud of that. Okay. So in summary, the benefits of moving to cloud. So in cloud, you have heard me, cloud I put almost equal to hyperscale cloud, because that's true cloud. I am in my mind, in my vocabulary, I do not apply cloud to these cloudified hosting solutions. So with native cloud, hyperscale cloud, you can get the maximum security, reliability, and performance at a very competitive price, if managed well. Again, managed well, taking advantage of dynamic start-stop, having right-sized resources, and using high availability and disaster recovery setups that are cost neutral. And secondly, the next benefit is that you can really grow with the innovation of the cloud provider. Amazon is innovating so rapidly, and you get instant access to this innovation. So what we constantly do, we always monitor the market of resources from Amazon. We always, if there's a better compute being offered by Amazon, a better storage technology, we apply it right away within our solutions and use it for our customers as fit and needed. And it's amazing, this rapid innovation, how you can instantly apply it as opposed to owning equipment and having to depreciate it and then buy new equipment. And most importantly, what this allows you is to focus really on your core business, and that's what it's all about today. Blue Oceans are finding a core business where you are different and then focusing it and exploiting it as fast as you can. And hyperscale cloud is there to support you in doing this. Yeah, that concludes my presentation. I think we're right on time. Said we're sticking to half an hour, and Karen, I can hand it back to you. And I think, yeah, here the question mark shows it. I think
yes.
Next would be a little Q&A.
Yes, thank you, Sven. That's really good information. And you're right, there are some questions here. How do we get started with cloud?
Okay, so that's a good question. I hear that all the time, how to get started. Yeah, first of all, browse around a little bit. Look on the Amazon Web Services website to kind of confirm what I just said. And then if this is in a context of SAP Business One, and you would want to try cloud, it's also very, very easy. Just get in touch with our partner Blue Ocean System and/or us. Then we'll get you going. We could easily do a trial for you of the cloud service, and then Blue Ocean Systems is the expert. They can work with us to get this going and also explain to you the benefits of the Business One solution, how to take best advantage of those benefits. So very, very easy. We're happy to do a trial for our joint customers at Blue Ocean Systems anytime.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sven. Were there any other questions? Oh, what are the differences between the types of hosting options?
Okay. Yeah, so I spoke about that earlier in the session. And so I see different types of hosting options. The two major types are what I call cloud hosting, coming a little bit out of the traditional space, out of this hosting space where smaller local providers have setups where they host customer systems. And that's great. That was a wonderful model 5 or 10 years ago. And then the other type of cloud are these hyperscale clouds at Amazon Web Services. And I had a slide in there, I don't know if you saw it, you may have joined late, where so much capacity is provided with such a fidelity of controls for the APIs they offer to control the services within this cloud, that you can come up with totally different setups. We call them cloud native setups, where everything is software defined and software controlled, and you can build a different type of experience with a higher availability, higher performance, higher security at a controlled or lower cost typically. So that's the difference.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions?
Going once, going twice, going 3 times.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. And again, Blue Ocean plus Ocean9, together we can make it happen. If you're interested in cloud or you have any additional questions, please contact me or check out our website for more information. That concludes our session today, and thank you to everyone, especially to Swen Conrad.
Thank you very much, Karen. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all the attendees also.
Yes, thank you. All right, so long.